Okay, I am really excited to get on with a little bit of training. And so what I want to remind everybody, this is our very first training ever. Okay, so in this first hour ever, I'm going to give you what you need now. And so you guys are the early adapters. So for example, I have the iPhone 12. I went and got the iPhone 12 before it was out because I like getting the new stuff, right? And there are other people, they like to wait for something to come out, see how it goes, and then they jump on. Okay. You aren't those people, right? We're the ones getting ahead, and there's so many rewards for being somebody willing to do that. Another example, I went to Whiskey Cake restaurant, and they had a board, and it had where everything was sourced from. It's like our beef came from, and it had this like ranch in Texas. Our vegetables came from, and it told what garden that they came from on the board. The week before, I went to Del Fresco's and had a great dinner. I didn't know where any of that meat or any of that food came from, and it was just as good. So I say that to say, you don't have to have everything. I didn't need to know where every piece of food on my plate came from to eat there and enjoy it, because the week before I went to a great restaurant and enjoyed it not knowing those things. So we're going to give you all the information that you need to move forward. And as we go, you're going to get more info. So today I want to focus on the stuff that's going to make you money, because right now your positioning is golden, right? Shares, positioning, all of that is in. So now we want to really maximize and take full advantage of it. And so I'm going to look at the chat too and look here, but I have a short time. So I'm going to start with some of the skills that I think are the most important. And the first one would be invitation. Okay, so this is very basic. And I really would encourage you, if you go on YouTube and you type in like network marketing invitation or Eric Worre, I listen to trainings and podcasts on these topics all the time because I love hearing different people's takes on them. And then I find the one and I make it my own. But inviting someone, the number one thing that people do wrong, and I did it. The last company that I joined, I made a long list. I called every single person on that list and just vomited all over them and told them all about everything, about the compensation plan, about the service, and just told way too much. And every single person on that list told me no. And probably just to shut me up because I was talking too much. And so if you can pull it back, and I get you, I love to talk and I get really, really excited. But if you can pull it back and you can just invite them to look without trying to explain everything to them in that minute that you get in front of them, you're going to be 100 steps ahead. Okay, so with inviting, I've heard this and I love this. There's a psychological thing that if you give someone something, they're more likely to say yes back to you. And it's interesting because our first initial thing, if you're in a store and you're kind of shopping around, oh, you guys can't see me. Okay, let me see. Can you see me now? Okay, let me know. Okay, again. Yay, hi everyone. I like to look at somebody when I talk to, so I totally get that. I'll need to like note that. So the clerk comes over and says, can I help you? And almost like our initial thing always is like, no, we're good. You know what I mean? So, but if someone is offering, you something, and so here's two words that you can remember. If I, would you? Okay. So if I were to send you a link of something that I'm doing, would you be willing to jump on and check it out? So if I introduced you to a new business partner that I'm working with, would you be open to talking to them? If I invited you to get on a Zoom and check out a new product, would you look at it? So if I, would you? Okay, so that's a really cool key thing. And so then now I'm going to talk more on a level of, this is new, right? So we're not out necessarily right now going to strangers. We can, but a lot of times we're going to initially go to the people that we know. And so what I've done is I've framed it as, I have this gift and I have a silver platter. Okay. And this silver platter contains shares to a company that is going to be huge. The ability to come in and be positioned amazing at the top of the binary going in, the first opening month of a company. So that's my platter. I have this amazing gift. And so my goal right now is I want to offer this gift to everybody that I love and know. Okay. And so what you have to go into it as is you are unattached to the outcome. So when I have my beautiful platter and my gift and I show it to somebody, if they don't want it, that's okay. It's totally okay, right? But my goal and the thing that I want to make sure that I do is that I offer it to everyone. So if you can go back in that phrase, instead of, oh my gosh, someone suggested I have 10 people starting, I got to find 10 people, but no, I have this gift, I'm going to give it out. So you're offering, you're inviting for them to take a look. So think of it that way versus I have to tell them everything. And so in the offer, so my personal trainer back when I lived in Champaign before Jimmy, so like a long time ago, her name is Jenny, and she was one of my good friends. I called her yesterday and said, Jenny, you know, how are you doing? She moved to Utah, like caught up really quick and just said, I'm calling you because I've just been given what I consider the opportunity of a lifetime, coming at the beginning of a new company, and it's health related. And I know that's your jam. When I thought of people that I would want to build this with, learn about this and grow this with, I thought of you. I love your style. I love your philosophy on health. I love, you know, how you built your training business. Will you take a look? And she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know, you would think of me to share that with, and like honored to be invited. And so other people I've gone to and just been like, hey, we've been friends forever and I'm embarking on a new thing and it's going to be big and I want you to come with me. I'm big on vacations. I want to vacation with all of my friends. So I want you to come with me. We're going to have so much fun and so much success. We're going to have the time and the money to go to vacation together. Okay, so that might not have applied maybe to you, but what does apply to you? You know, do you have friends where y'all have a bunch of different streams of income? And so you go to that and you're like, hey, I know we're working on these 4 streams. I found a 5th stream of income. I want you to take a look at it. I think it could really be right up your alley. Take a look at it. So you didn't just explain anything about the business. Please don't talk about match pay when you're inviting them. You don't need to go into that. And even as far as talking about when I mentioned at the top of the binary, I was talking to people that were network marketing experienced. So when I talk to my friend who isn't, binary doesn't mean anything to her. To her, it's I want you to do something with me that we can build together and, you know, have the freedom and flexibility and have the money and have the time. So that's what I would do for invite. So that was a little longer than I wanted to say, but if the shorter and sweeter you can keep it, and thinking of it as like literally the platter that you're putting out there, and they partake of the platter, they don't, you're going on, you know. And so let them know why you're inviting them and what you see, short, and then get them on. So the next thing I want to talk about is overcoming objections, because you're going to get objections when you ask someone to look at it, and then you're going to get objections possibly after they look at it of different things. And so here's just 4 quick things that you can think of so our goal, our job, I should say, is not to fix whatever they say. So they don't have time. We're not supposed to go in their calendar and cut things out for them or hire people in for them to delegate stuff to. That's on them. Our job is to listen to them, connect with them so that they want to go find the money if they say they don't have the money. They want to change their schedule around, and so they have time. They want to sell it to their spouse so they can join us. That's not us. So things that we can do to get there, first one is listen. And so listen to understand. And I'm guilty of this. I think we all are. When someone's talking, I'm a me too. Oh my gosh, me too. I can really, and then I want to share. It's really hard for me too. But if we can listen to understand, okay, so look at where they're coming from and then ask follow-up questions. So if you're talking to someone, maybe they've done other network marketing business and they didn't have success. Okay, so listen where they're coming from. Maybe they're talking about past experiences. They're talking about past hurts. Maybe they had a bad experience with an individual in a network marketing company. So just listen, because what they're possibly saying is the objection really isn't. It's these other past things. Okay, so listen to be understood and ask follow-up questions. So if they say, I don't know anybody, oh, you pick up your phone, you have a ton of contacts. Don't say that. Let's say, why do you feel that way? Or ask questions that keep getting them to talk versus just stopping it, you know, so that's more validated. And so then relate. The second one is relate. So the first one is listen. The second is relate. Help them not feel like they're crazy. Okay. So I remember when quarantine happened and everything, and I had less time and I kind of felt crazy. I'm like, how do I have less time? I can't go anywhere now. All my in-person meetings are canceled and stuff. But my kids were home 24/7. And so I really did have less time, and it was a lot harder. It wasn't. So when people are like, now I have all this time to do whatever. And so if someone would have said to me, there's plenty of time, you know, you don't have this going on. No, I need them to relate and say, yeah, my kids are home too. Or I've had friends that have talked about how their kids are home. That is tough, you know, when they're there. So relate to them. So they say, you know, starting this business, I don't have that kind of extra money. I totally get where you're coming from. You could really, and if it's your personal story, you would share your personal story. or you would share the story of somebody else, like another instance. And that goes to number 3, it's tell stories. And so our owner, Chris, when he first introduced network marketing, didn't have the money to start. And I've heard him tell the story before where he borrowed the money from someone to start. So someone could say that and you could say, I definitely, that's the thing. You know, I can totally relate. I know even my friend, same deal. He was presented it and didn't have the money. And, you know, when he borrowed it. So I can see where you're coming from. So you're telling the story and you're not making them feel bad or less than. And also you can kind of point out too, like if your current situation right now is not having that money, how bad do you want to change your current situation? You know, how okay are you? And you could do this with comfort level of how well you know the person. How okay are you with not having, you know, the extra couple $100? You know, do you want to change that? Because if they don't want to change that and they're okay with it, there's nothing you can really say or do, you know, then you just know and you move on. But telling the story of they don't have time, you say, oh my gosh, I get you. One of my best friends and Mary Kay in the product company I did, she was a full-time PhD student and had like 3 other things going on, and she earned her pink Cadillac. And I'll say what I saw was when she saw the value in it and it brought her a lot of joy, even though her plate was full, she made time for it. Okay, so you're going to just share an overcoming story of the same thing. And then the last would be what I said earlier of if I, would you. So if I could show you how, you said you didn't have a lot of people that you knew. If I could show you how, like to branch out and to meet new people, you know, would you consider coming in and doing this with me? You know, would you be willing to take the next step with me? If I could brainstorm with you of where we could come up with that extra money, you know, to get in, partake of the shares, would you be open to coming in and doing it with me? Okay, so there's mine. Listen, relate, tell stories, and if I, would you. And so this is really about too, the first things that people say as far as objections usually aren't the real objections. Okay, so I don't have money or I don't have time. A lot of it is really like, I don't have confidence that I can do this, or I don't feel qualified. You know, that's what it is. But if they feel heard by you and supported by you, those things will, you can help overcome those by not even saying it, but just by in your actions to that. So that is some overcoming objections. So someone asked about slides. I can only see you in a small window. That's so weird. Sorry, guys. Not sure. Let me see something real quick. Maybe that. Well, okay. Hopefully, I don't have any slides. Well, I have a slide, but I don't love slides. I'm just looking at it. It's just bullet points so that I can keep track of everything. So we're going to talk about building your team right now. And so you are on my full screen. Okay, we're good. So here we go. I bought a house 6 months ago, and this is all back. I'll go back. We're starting new. Okay, there's no like system that like, oh, it kind of went off here and we got to adjust. How we set it up right now is how the business, the company, and how everything is going to flow. Okay, and how our communication with our consultants and everything. So as a company, Chris already has that all down. We have, systems that are being developed right now, because again, you're the early people, so you're even in before the system, but we will have some great systems, Facebook pages and things that you'll be able to put your people into. But I'm gonna give you an example. So when I bought my house, there were things that I always wanted. I wanted to epoxy my garage floor. I wanted the custom closet, like those master custom closets. I wanted the Ring doorbell. I have like doorbells from the front and back, and then the Alexa Show, so I can like see security from my house. And then the Container Store. I always I want my kitchen to look like the Container Store, all that. And so what I did when I moved in, before I even unpacked, I epoxied my garage floor. I got a designer person or organizer person. We went to the Container Store and dropped a lot of money and came back, and I set all that up. And so my house is like set. And on that first day, I assigned chores to my kids, and we've kept those same chores. They rotate a couple. That's set. And I hired a cleaning lady that first day. So I say all that to say, I moved in here and I'm like, I got to keep going. Everything was in a full speed in the business I was doing. And so I took the time and the effort to put all those systems and the things I wanted in place at that moment, rather than I'll get around to it. And some of those things, if you wait and do later, it's actually more work. So with your team right now, you will want to set up a thing where you have a thing where you shoot them a text in the morning, you make the calls in the evening. Definitely prefer calls. You could have a Zoom, with your people where you're keeping them connected to when the trainings are. And then if you're new, then connect with the person who brought the person in, just so that you're connected there. Because as far as building your teams, we don't want anyone to not know like where to go. And this is going to be easier. Like I said, it's our very first one. We're going to have a Facebook page, and you're going to be able to put things in. We're going to have a GroupMe app. We're going to add people to that. So as I roll those out, what I'm asking for is help from everybody on here to grab onto those systems and start putting people in right away. And so that we're building that from the very beginning. And here's the thing too, when you have a team of 2, what you do with your team of 2, you will do with your team of 2,000. Okay, and I know this from experience. I have done this wrong before, where I did certain things that I could not keep. And when my team blew up to over 3,000 people, I couldn't do what I was doing when I had 30 people. So how you operate and what you do now, think of this, okay, my team's going to be 3,000 in a quick minute. Can I do what I'm doing right now, scale to that level? And if you can't, then tweak it. Okay, and so the best thing that you're going to do is the person that you bring in, you're going to equip them to do what you're doing. So then when their person comes in, they add their people automatically to the Facebook page. They add their people automatically to the text group. And so I hope that helps. And that's going to, I'll give a little more on that as the systems are coming up more. And so make sure I don't miss anything on my notes here, because I said we had about 15 minutes and I'm about that time. Okay, so the people, the objections that you're going to get to looking for the business or inviting and all of that is 2 things. It's limiting beliefs. People have limiting beliefs in themselves, and they have limiting beliefs in network marketing. Okay, so that I would say is at the root of it all. It's because you can find the money, you can find the time, you can find the people. Okay, those are things that can be overcome. And so what it is up to us, and this is what I love, is you have to sell yourself to be all in, all out, have a vision of where you're going. And if you've seen this before, if I've ever worked with you, but this is my shirt. It says, I am earning $10,000 this month. And so the last business that I did, when I was making like $2,000 a month, I took that and wore that shirt every day. And I said it and I thought it. And then it went to, I'm going to help people on my team make $10,000+ a month. And I had a lot of people on my team making over $10,000 a month, but it came from having that vision. So right now, being in early, like I talked about you guys, the early adopters, have in your mind, what are you creating? What do you see? What do you want? Coming in with the founders pack, he's going to talk about this a little more too. It's $500 commission, for you. So are you having 10 people come in with the founders pack, or are you having 100 people come in? Do the math. Take your number times 500. I mean, and that's going to be your initial week check coming in, without even counting everything else that Chris is about to go over. And so have that vision, have thought, because what the leader and your capacity, you can really, really expand it more by passing that on to your team, because they're going to look to you. And so now you get to step into it, right? We're all new. We're all at zero. Nobody has anybody on their team technically, because there isn't a system to put people on the team, so this is a level playing field, which I think is exciting. And you get to decide right now how you come out of the gate, and then and that's going to be up to you and this team that you're building right